Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, as you can see for Spooky Week, we are profiling my favorite deck of all time, and that is Gravekeepers. Now, I know Gravekeepers are not zombies or skeletons, but they have to do with graveyards and tombs. And I think graveyards and spooky tombs of ancient Egypt can be kind of scary. So I decided to do a deck profile because they also got new support and they're my favorite deck, like I said. So we're going to be doing a Gravekeeper deck profile for October 2018. Now this deck is gotten some new support, like I said. It doesn't make the deck meta, but it makes the deck better at what it does and makes it an overall better deck. It was actually very decent to very good support, I would say, overall for the most part. And we'll talk about the new cards, the new strategies, and the different ways you can play Gravekeepers as you play with the new cards that recently came out of Soul Fusion. So let us get to the deck profile. So first off, we run our 3 Gravekeepers Recruiter. He is the Witch of the Black Forest of the deck. You run 3 of him in the deck. You need to run 3 of him. He searches out just about all your Gravekeeper needs for whatever you need. Yes, the combo play with set Spy, flip Spy, bring out either Recruiter or Descendant and then normal summon Recruiter or Descendant, pop 2 cards and get a search is not as effective as it used to be, but it's still a decent play for getting around floodgates and stupid stuff out there, even in today's game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I do still like that play, but you'll see that I've dialed back on my number of Descendants and I've taken the deck in a different direction to some degree. But yes, you definitely need to run your 3 Recruiter. It's staple in any Gravekeeper deck. Next up, we run our 3 Gravekeeper Spy. Now, I've seen people cut Gravekeeper Spy down to 2 of, 1 of, none of, and I understand that because Gravekeeper Spy is a little bit slow, but it's your +1 of the deck. You set this card, you flip it up, you get your +1. It's the backbone of the deck and what the combo plays do for the deck. Not so much as it used to be before the new support came out, because now you can focus on the extra deck and go in for your fusion monster. But Gravekeeper Spy is still essential for basic combo plays. Go in for your rank 4s if you need to. Go in for popping boards and popping back row if you need to. Whatever the necessity is that you need to get around, or the problems you need to get around, Gravekeeper Spy is there to set. And now that we do have Gravekeeper's headman, you can actually, if your Spy is engraved, you can reset your Spy, flip it up, and do things of that combo nature. So this helps this out, which is quite nice. So 3 Gravekeeper Spy. I still run 3 in the deck. You can decide if you want to run more or less. 3 Commandant. You run 3. You have to run 3. This makes Gravekeeper Spy Necrovalley more searchable. This allows you to have 6 copies, but technically you actually have 9 copies now of Necrovalley in your deck. And you may say, what do I mean by that? That's because now that you have the Necrovalley Throne, say you did not draw Commandant or Necrovalley in your opening hand. You can activate Necrovalley's Throne, search your Commandant, pitch your Commandant, search your Necrovalley. You see where I'm going with this. So technically nowadays you do have 9 Necrovalley in your deck. So yeah. Next up, we run some of the new ones. We run the 2 Fusionist, Gravekeeper Spiritualist, and 2 Gravekeepers Headman. So I'm going to read over Headman so you understand what it does, and then I'll read over Spiritualist. The only reason I'm doing this is because these are new cards for the deck. So Gravekeeper's Headman states, if this card is summoned, you can target 1 level 4 Gravekeeper monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in attack position or face down defense position. This is the reason why I say that Headman works with Spy. You can reset your Spy. You can only use the effect of Gravekeeper's Headman once per turn. This effect is unaffected by Necrovalley, which means you can use Headman to bring things back from the graveyard, while Necrovalley hurts your opponent because they can't get things back from their graveyard. So that's what Headman does. Gravekeeper Spiritualist, on the other hand, as I'll read for you, is your Fusionist to help go for your fusion plays. During your main phase, if Necrovalley is on the field, you can fusion summon 1 spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control and other monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. You can only use the effect of Gravekeeper Spiritualist once per turn. And the good thing is, if you guys don't know the combo plays, what you can do here is you can, if Spiritualist is in the graveyard, you can use Headman, bring back Spiritualist, and then go for your fusion play. That's how that can work. There are some other combo plays with some older Gravekeeper cards I'll show you that you can use to help go for your fusion just a little bit more easier than just going, having to have the Gravekeeper on field, normal summon this, go for a regular fusion, or using Headman after this is engraved to go for a fusion. The good thing about Spiritualist, though, is it is a 2000 body with Necrovalley on the field. That is a bonus. It's a 2000 booty and a 2000 attacker. That's pretty decent. Headman, not so much. I wish his stats were flipped, or at least he had 14 attack, or something around 1000 attack, you know, something that I could use. But I understand why. But he's still a very good card to have in the deck. So that's where we run those. We run those ratios as 2 ofs. 3 ofs of each I found to be cloggy because they do take setup to do your combo plays with the deck. I do still run 1 Gravekeeper's Descendant. Like I said, it helps get around problematic things and just pop cards, pop field spells, whatever the case may be. It helps with your rogue matchups, it helps with baiting out stuff. It's just too good not to run in the deck and just cut it out altogether. While Gravekeeper's Assailant, the reason we don't run Gravekeeper's Assailant anymore is because links are a thing, and if links could go in defense position, I would run Gravekeeper's Assailant still, but just you can't do that as much as anymore. So I've cut her out of the deck and run Gravekeeper's Descendant still in the deck because you have a lot more ways with one of the trap cards that I run in the deck where you can just be like, okay, I'll bring out Descendant Recruiter, pop things, you can reset your Spy, go off with Spy, pop things. It's just, you can pop a lot more quicker and easier in this deck, and it takes less setup. Now with Headman and the trap card that I run in the deck, which is Rite of Spirit, which I keep alluding to, we run more of this now because it just helps with your combo plays of the deck. But we'll talk about that more in detail in a second. But I still run 1 Descendant. It's just, you need to run it. It's too good not to, and it helps you with your different plays you need to do in the deck. Next up we run our hand traps. I only run 2. You could cut Descendant out, you could cut a Spy down to 2 of. It's up to you if you want to run a 3rd Ash. But I just decided to run 2 Ash. You can run 3 if you wish. But it just helps with your disruption and your stun aspect of the deck. Next we run 3 Necrovalley. Now I don't have the new eroded version of Necrovalley at my disposal, but you guys pretty much know it's back to the original ruling where nothing can leave the graveyard, period, unless it states like Headman. So when it's in the graveyard, it stays in the graveyard. No more Treeborn Frogs, no more Grapha, nothing like that. It stays in the graveyard. That's pretty much in a nutshell what the new errata does. But I have my old Super Necrovalley that I used to play in PGD, Pharaonic Guardian, and I actually have some of the older erratas, but I like these rarities more. They look a little bit darker compared to the new Dual Saga ones I think we got. But I like the original Super because I've run that in my Gravekeeper deck since the original set it came out in. So how long ago was that? Almost like 15 years ago? A long time ago. Next up we run 3 Necrovalley of the Throne. Now I'm going to read you this card. It's pretty simple. What Necrovalley of the Throne does, it's pretty much the best Necrovalley support we got out of everything in this set. Activate one of these effects. Number 1, add 1 Gravekeeper monster from your deck to your hand. That's it. Number 2, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Gravekeeper monster. You can only activate 1 throne room per turn. Okay, this is a Rhoda for Gravekeepers. That helps out so much. It's also a double summon if you need it to be. That is so good because of the combo plays you can do. You can go off, you can do so many different things. I could be like, okay, I have too many Gravekeepers in hand, I only have my Gravekeepers in hand. Alright? So instead of searching, I'm going to activate this immediately after it resolves, normal summon 1 Gravekeeper monster. So I'm going to go, I have Valley on the field. Okay, I'm going to activate Valley. I have Valley in hand, 2 Gravekeepers and a Necrovalley out of the 5 cards in my hand. So I'm going to first normal summon, you know, let's say Commandant, because I already have Necrovalley in my hand. and then I'm going to activate this and set my spy. Then I'm going to activate Necrovalley, okay? Then I'm going to activate my Valley, which if you guys don't know what Valley does, it's your Vandy's Emptiness of the deck. This way, what you can do is you can set up for combo plays next turn and still stun your opponent with Valley on the field. So Necrovalley, as you guys know, Valley, you can have this on the field with your Necrovalley on the field and stun your opponent. And that's just amazing what this card can do. The versatility that this card can do is absolutely amazing. When I started thinking about the different aspects I could use it for example, if I need to get around with a single card, I can just be like, and it depends if I have the cards already in hand, but Recruiter and things can search things so easily, it's amazing. But I can go Normal Summon Descendant, activate the second effect, Normal Summon a Recruiter, pop something, search, swing for 2,000, just quicker than having to set the spy, flip up the spy, do things of that nature. But it just makes Spy a little bit more quicker, helps you use your stun aspect cards like Tombs and Valley more effectively if you have a whole bunch of Gravekeepers in hand. The versatility of this card is amazing. You may just say, well, I'm just going to use it for the Rhoda. And a lot of times you're going to do that. But you're also going to find yourself just as many times to some degree using the second effect. Do not forget about it, because in certain situations you may usually search something out. You're like, wait. I can set up a pretty good board if I do it this way instead. So remember the secondary effect of this card, because once you start thinking of the different applications, you'll find that it works out very well in the deck. Next up, we run 3 Valley. This is your Vandy's Emptiness of the deck. Now that we have a way to... The reason I always used to hate this card and not run it as much is because I literally had to normal summon a Gravekeeper in attack position. And if I had Spy, I wanted to set my Spy right away to get my effects off. Well, now with Throne Room, as I showed you, you don't always have to do that, do you now? So I can literally, with Spiritualist being a 2,000 attacker, I can just be summoning my 2,000 attacker, have a Necrovalley on the field, have this on field, and stun my opponent, and then just slowly grind them out until I win. And that's kind of the way the deck works now. It's a grindy stun deck, and it works beautifully. But 3 Valley is essential nowadays in the game of in this deck and in this day and age. 2 Stele, this helps recurs everything. Some people may run it as a one-of. It's a card that you do not want to see in your opening hand, but it's a card that you want to see after turn 1. After turn 1 with turn 2, you want to see this card right away, because this helps recur stuff and reuse stuff, and you get to reuse some of your cards in graveyard like Headman, and you get where this is going. This helps recycle your cards to help do combo plays, and I like it as a 2-of still in the deck. I have considered cutting down to 1-of for another Ash, but I'm going to leave that up to you to decide. From playtesting, I do like it as a 2-of though, I will state that. Next we run your 1 Warrior Tribute. It's against some decks you want to run this, like if I'm playing against Danger, I am side decking this thing out right away. But if I'm playing against a deck that is not getting effects in graveyard like BA or Danger or Dark Worlds, or you know where I'm going with this, you run it and it's good. And it takes less setup than it used to. I hope this card comes back though to more of. In the OCG it's at 3-of. It'd be so great if it was back at 3-of. Next we run 2 Allure of Darkness. I do not run 3 because I don't have as many darks and I don't want to banish my dark targets as much as I used to. But if I get clunky hands, this is a very nice card to have in my hand. To unclunk my hand, search for cards. And if I already have an established board, search for more traps, search for more combo pieces, things that I can do stuff with. So I like it as a 2-of, but 3-of is too much. Next up we got our double Tombs, Imperial Tombs in Necrovalley. You could run this as a 3-of now, thanks to Throne Room, but I just like it as a 2-of because it does take setup, and it's still a great card. It's an amazing card. You run it in Gravekeepers, there's no doubt about it. The ratio is debatable. I've seen people in the past run it as none-of, a 1-of, a 2-of, a 3-of. I've seen all the ratios. I prefer 2-of because it can get clunky in hand if you don't have the proper setup. It is Infernity Barrier for the deck, but you don't want to run too much of it because it does take a lot of requirements and setup properly. Next I run 2 Rite of Spirit. Now, I've always said that I love Rite of Spirit in this deck for the combo plays it could do with Recruiter Descendant. But nowadays, it helps with so many more combos. So, let's go over some of the combos I can do. I can still do these combos with Descendant and Recruiter, that's a given. But I can also do combos now with Spiritualist, because Spiritualist states that it has to be fusion summoned doing my, what phase was it? I think it was my main phase, excuse me, doing my main phase, if Necrovalley is on the field. So what I can do now to get a +1 out of this fusion is to say Recruiter is in Graveyard. I can be like, okay, Reborn the Recruiter, normal summon Spiritualist to go for my fusion, get a search. You see where this is going. Or if I have a random Gravekeeper on the field and I don't have the fusion, I could be like, okay, Rite of Spirit, bring back Spiritualist, go for my fusion play, da 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 da. You see where this is going now, don't you? You are able to go for your fusion a lot more essential with using Rite of Spirit combos after you've set up your graveyard and when you're in the grind game. It's just helps with your combo play so much more, and it also can reborn your Gravekeeper monster fusion if it gets destroyed, which is still nice to have. He will be at 25 attack, I think, because he'll be at 2,000. I don't think he'll continue to gain the attack he gained from the fusion. I don't know if that's correct or not. I haven't asked a judge friend yet, but what he will do is he will be at 25 attack and still get his searching ability off. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And this just helps bring out things, do different combo plays. It's your monster reborn for the deck. You run it as a 2-of, and like I said, I'm just showing you off some of the little combo plays you can do with it, with your fusion plays, your descendant plays, so forth and so on. Next up, we run 2 Storing Mirror Force. I've always loved the Mirror Force trap cards in this deck because it helps stun my opponent, especially because sometimes my Gravekeeper's a little bit, slow. I don't want them to run over a spy. I don't want them to get around a certain monster. I just Storming, it's non-targeting removal, bounce all their Link monsters back to the extra deck. It doesn't target. It's a good card. 3-of is too much, but 2-of is great. I love this card nowadays. Then we run your Solemn Brigade, I call it. 2 Solemn Strikes, your 1 Judgment, your 1 Warning. It helps you with the stun aspect of the deck. If your opponent tries to get around something, you can be like, no, good sir, you are not doing that. And it just helps stun your opponent and stop things, along with Necrovalley. The deck has become a lot more stun-oriented as time has gone on, and I'm fine with that, but you need the Solemn Brigade or traps of that nature. And you have a lot of stunny traps to protect your Necrovalley. So, I mean, technically you have 3, you have Judgment and your 2 Necrovalley, Tombs of the Necrovalley, excuse me, where you can actually protect your Necrovalley. So, you're pretty good. And then you have the fusion too that can help protect it. So let's talk about that. We have our Dark Magician Girl because we love our spellcasters. And we run 2 of the Gravekeeper's fusion. You could run 3 of it if you wanted to, but I'm going to read you this card's effect. So, 2 Gravekeeper monsters is its requirement. Gains attack and defense equal to the combined original level of the materials used for its fusion times 100. So if you use the level 4 and then level 3 Recruiter, you're gaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attack. So with Necrovalley, he'll be at 25, so he'll be over 3,000 attack when he comes out. I think 31 attack or 32 attack. While Necrovalley is on the field, this card and any cards in your field zone can't be destroyed by card effects. That means that this protects Necrovalley. That is why we do not run the big girl Shaman anymore. I think Shaman of the Necrovalley, I think she was called. Or Gravekeeper Shaman. We don't run her anymore because the fusion is just as good and bigger and beefier and does more stuff. While Necrovalley is in the field, this card can't be, cards in your field zone can't be destroyed by card effects. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. During your end phase of this turn, add 1 Gravekeeper monster and 1 Necrovalley card from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Gravekeeper Supernaturalist once per turn. Now, it does suck that you get the card during the end phase and you don't get it right away and you can't set up for your combo plays and boo-hoo, it does suck. I'm kind of mad about this. I love this card and I hate this card. But it's a good card, it's easy to go for, and once you figure out how to go for it easily and play with your deck and build the deck properly, you can do a lot more good stuff and make the deck function properly. So I do like it in the deck, and it's definitely a necessity to run a 2-of. For your rank 4s, you got your Exciton Knight, your Bagasucha, your Castel, You're a cowboy in case you go into time. Cowboy for game is super easy to do in this deck if you really need to, so run the cowboy, you have the space. Utopia package because it helps you get around bigger problematical monsters that you can't get around, so if your opponent has a big, huge monster, Utopia the Light Unit. Wee Witch, I rarely go into, but if you have the opportunity to go into Wee Witch, go into Wee Witch. Underclock Taker, just in case. Cerberus, just in case. Unicorn, just in case. These are pretty much everything except like your rank 4s are just in case. Your links you sometimes go for, barely. Borload, just in case. And Boar Sword, just in case. So, yeah, I'm sorry this deck profile took so long. I usually try to make my deck profiles a little bit shorter, but I love this deck to death, and I wanted to give an in-depth discussion about it. So, hope you all enjoyed it. Until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see you all next time.